Well, I thought for today's reflections, I'd just sit down and start typing and to see where it goes. I was just thinking, or in this case, I was just typing, and I was typing out loud or thinking out loud. I was thinking about moods and how people can get in bad moods. Now, I know none of you have ever gotten in a bad mood, but you know some people who have, right? Nah. Do you ever just wake up in a bad mood? Maybe you didn't sleep well and you're still tired, but you have to get up anyway. So you start your day off in a bad mood and then it goes downhill from there. Then again, I'm talking about maybe some of the circumstances of your life just don't go like you planned them to. And that affects your attitude and, of course, your mood and your disposition. Being in a bad mood or in a down or semi-state of depression can be a killer. It affects everything around you. Bad things just seem worse. Good things now seem bad. And great things only seem mildly good. Everything you see and everything you do is affected by your mood. Now come on, admit it. You have days when you're moody too. Now, I'm not talking about clinical depression and things where we need medical help on. I'm just talking about those days when you're just not in a good mood. Know what I mean? I decided to stop and do a little research. Looked up in the dictionary. The word mood is defined as a state of mind or feeling. It's defined as fits of melancholy or a bad temper. Then I looked up the word moody, and it's defined as given to changes of mood, gloomy, sullen. There were several adjectives used in the dictionary to describe moody, such as fickle, volatile, testy, short-tempered, gloom, or even moping. Yeah. We've all been there and been that. We've all had to spend our day with somebody else like that who's in a bad mood. I'm not sure which is worse, being in a bad mood or being with somebody that's in a bad mood. It just might be a coin toss. So I decided to look and see if mood or moody was in the Bible. Guess what? It is. Samuel tells the story of a guy named Nabal. And he wrote in 1 Samuel 25:36, when Abigail came to Nabal, he was holding a banquet in his home. It was like a king's banquet. He was in a good mood and very drunk. So she didn't tell him anything until dawn. Well, in this case, Nabal was in a good mood because he was drinking a lot of wine. Yet the word for good mood was something I could look up. In the Hebrew, it means to be pleasing or to be good. It's the Hebrew word tob, T-O-B. It means pleasant, delightful, and cheerful. That word is also used in other places in the Bible, talking about people who are well off or who are being well. It's used to refer to people who are pleasing, who act well, and who do well. It's even used to describe a person playing well on an instrument. Now, the opposite of the word tob is the word ra, R-A-A. Even sounds about right for a bad mood. Rah, like a lion. It means to act wickedly or badly, to bring disaster or to be sad or to treat harshly. In the book of Jeremiah, there's a form of the word rah used to describe someone who just does not want to get along or go along. Now, why am I meandering about all of this? Well, as believers, what are we to do about our moods and being moody? Paul tells us in Ephesians 4:23 that we're to let the Spirit renew our thoughts and attitudes. The Greek word for renew is the word ananeo. It means to go up to a higher level by God's grace and power, to be divinely renewed. Now that's interesting, isn't it? In other words, the Bible says that God can give us the power to move from a downer to an upper. You like that? I mean, from a down mood to a high mood. We talk about getting high. The Bible says God can lift us up to a high attitude on life. In the book of Philippians, Paul tells two women who are always in a bad mood to change. He wrote for the whole church and now all of human history to read in Philippians 4:2. He said, I encourage both Euodia and Syntyche to have the attitude the Lord wants them to have. Can you imagine your attitude being so bad that God writes your name in the Bible and tells you in front of all of humanity to get out of your bad mood? Ouch! The word Paul used for this attitude these two women were to have is the word phronia. It means to regulate from within properly. It means to get a new perspective. It means to get a new attitude that is reflected in a corresponding outward behavior. In Matthew, the word is used talking about somebody who set their mind on something. That comes from a word friend that means to exercise the mind. Romans uses this word to describe this in Romans 8:5. Paul said, for those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh. But those who live according to the Spirit set their mind on the things of the Spirit. All of this excursion about moods today has led me to understand this truth. God does not intend for me or you to be a slave to our moods. God has promised to give us the power to be lifted up out of our bad moods. He's even given us the choice on what we decide to set our minds on. We get to choose how we think. We get to determine our attitudes. God, according to the Bible, gives us the power to rise above our petty moods and moodiness. So it's wrong for a believer to stay in a bad mood. We are to deliberately set our minds on the things of God and His Word and His truths, and not to set our mind on negative thought patterns and feelings that bring us down in a downward cycle of defeat and pessimism. As a matter of fact, Paul writes that the fruit of the Spirit is an indication that we're walking with God. He says that fruit of the Spirit in Galatians 5:22 is love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, faithfulness. All of that means that I don't have to give in to bad attitudes and a bad mood. And when I'm due, I'm giving in to my carnal or sinful or worldly flesh. And I'm not walking with God. So, hey guys, if you're listening to this at the beginning of your day, if a bad mood wants to set in, or the next time a bad mood wants to set in, realize you don't have to give in to those thoughts and feelings. God's promise that He will lift you up and set your mind and thoughts on Him and not on those thoughts that will bring you down. Today I got a thought for you, okay? Just say this all day. I will set my mind on the things of the Lord today. Here's a great prayer to pray. God, help me not to let negative feelings and thoughts dictate my behavior and conversation and mood today. Help me to exercise your power to lift me up.